Is January 19th, 2014. This should alarm people. It got so cold in Norway that fish that were swimming froze in place. They have an image here. Yahoo has another image. I guess because the fish were frozen in the water, that the birds couldn't even feast on them. There's also been report of moose being frozen instantly in the water. You know what this reminds me of is that woolly mammoth that they found frozen up there in the Arctic that had the buttercups, flowers that it was eating upon when it was instantly flash froze. So how cold does it have to be flash frozen like that?
Growing body of evidence suggests that the kind of extreme cold being experienced by much of the United States as we speak is a pattern that we can expect to see with increasing frequency as global warming continues.
Holy crap, it's cold outside. It is looks like negative 11, maybe negative 12 outside right now. It's the coldest it's been, well, maybe ever since I've lived here. Okay, so the temperature is negative 12. Wind chill is negative 35. Now, the humidity is 59%. That might work against me on this little experiment that I'm gonna try. Okay, so I'm warming up some water. It's getting pretty hot now. I'm gonna go try some. Okay, so what I've got is some hot water and some negative 12-degree air temperature outside here. I'm gonna see what happens when I throw the water up into the air. Scrape some snow off here so I can set the camera down. Okay. Here goes. that was pretty neat. I want to do that again. That was really cool. So that's pretty neat over there. We've got, I guess the ice crystals in the air are acting like a prism and making a little rainbow around the sun. It is cold out here. Okay, I'm gonna real quickly go do another, throw another glass of hot water in the air. I didn't make it quite as hot this time. Make sure I'm aimed right. It just evaporates as soon as it hits the super cold air. Oh, and the sun's got, there's a better one, better little rainbow over there. You almost can see the full ring around the sun. Man, it is cold out here.
Well, as you can see, it just started snowing unexpectedly here in Georgia. A lot of southern businesses are closed, including where I work. So.
This is the ice storm as seen from Richmond, Kentucky. So as you can see, there's about an inch of ice all over everything, and this is after 4 or 5 days of thawing. Well, as much as thawing as you can get with 20-degree temperatures. This is that same tree I was at this morning. It's a little bit warmer. Still kind of cold, but a little bit warmer. Check it out. A little bit less than there was before. A few days ago, apparently this shelter had about 160 people. We're down to less than 20 people at this shelter. As power comes back on, people are leaving. Most of our day is spent doing boring administrative work, make people sign in and out, and I'm not allowed to film inside because of Red Cross regulation. I got some really awesome shots of the ice and the icicles and stuff, and I posted them on my Flickr account, so you go check that out. Listen to this. Isn't that fun? All the ice is pretty much melted off today. This is the second day. All the ice is pretty much melted off, but the trees are still down everywhere, and there's like trees hanging off power lines, trees that look like they just exploded from the middle. Some trees just like laying on people's houses with ice still all over them and snow and stuff. Hopefully everybody will have power back soon, but nobody really knows, especially with the destruction we've seen. In my deft expert Floridian opinion, the trees look like they've been hit by a hurricane. Everything else looks like it's pretty okay. Like most of the houses are okay as far as damage is concerned, except for the houses that have trees falling on them. But we're moving shelters right now to another location, and then so 3 or 4 people have left. Now we're down to we're less than 20, I think, people at the shelter that don't have power yet.
That's right.
I forgot to tell you that that I'm talking to them. It was so cold. It was so cold that it bent the power line, the power, like the telephone poles or whatever. In some places, they actually did the same thing as the trees, like they froze and exploded. Yeah, I'd say having your tree grow up through the power lines like that's probably not a good idea when there's ice storms.
Well, here we are in Palma, Mallorca, and it is snowing. We've got about, I'd say about 5 centimeters, 6 centimeters of snow so far. First time, I was speaking to all the residents, it's about the first time in the last 15 years. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And kind of quite tough. Can you see them? Canoeists.
Frigid temperatures, snow and ice, an awful mix for travelers.
I'm so ready to leave here.
In the last 7 days, more than 17,000 cancellations and more than 40,000 delays. Compare that to a normal week, about 1,400 cancellations. The numbers don't lie, and neither do the long lines and unclaimed luggage.
I've been at 3 different airports since yesterday at 10 a.m.
We are in our 23rd hour of travel.
It's been a rough 7 days for travelers, and it could be another week before the system is back up to speed. One airline, JetBlue, has grounded nearly all flight operations at 4 busy airports: JFK, LaGuardia, Newark, and Boston's Logan. The ripple effect widespread, even being felt in Florida.
I don't know if anyone actually knows where any of the lines go, or what they're for.
Mother Nature takes part of the blame, but the airline says so does the government. JetBlue says FAA rules that went into effect Saturday requiring pilots to get time to rest is making delays worse. But a pilots union says the airlines had plenty of time to prepare.
They had 2 years to anticipate this and to adjust accordingly. So I think it's overly simplistic to suggest that they could ascribe this disruption, which happens to be associated with this major winter snowstorm, and just hang it all on that rulemaking change.
Other airlines are also monitoring the weather and scaling back. For passengers, they're all just waiting for a boarding pass that will get them to their destination sooner rather than later.
Goodbye. them falling down like hail. I can see them falling down like hail. Everything is falling down like hail.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Health Report in Special English. Winter and cold weather is a fact of life to many people in the northern part of the world. Freezing weather can mean frostbite and hypothermia unless a person is prepared. Here are some ways to stay warm, dry, and safe in cold weather. Frostbite is damage that happens when skin is exposed to extreme cold for too long. It mainly happens on the hands, feet, nose, and ears. People with minor cases of frostbite that affect only the skin may not suffer any permanent damage. But if deeper tissue is affected, a person is likely to feel pain every time the area gets cold. Damage to blood vessels is more dangerous. This kind of injury can lead to a gangrene infection. Sometimes the only way doctors can treat an injury like this is to remove frostbitten areas like fingers and toes. Hypothermia is a condition in which the body cannot produce as much heat as it loses. Signs of hypothermia include uncontrollable shaking, very slow breathing, and difficulty thinking clearly. If untreated, hypothermia can lead to death. To avoid cold-related injuries, here is a simple way to remember 4 basic steps to staying warm. Think of cold, C-O-L-D. The C stands for cover. Wear a hat and scarf to keep heat from escaping through the head, neck, and ears. And wear mittens, which are warmer than gloves. The O stands for overexertion. Avoid activities that will make you sweaty. Wet clothes and cold weather are a dangerous combination. L is for layers. Wearing loose, lightweight clothes, one layer on top of another, is better than wearing a single heavy layer of clothing. And D is for dry. In other words, stay as dry as possible. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Health Report in Special English. Hypothermia is a real concern if you are outside in cold weather for a long time. It is a condition that develops when the body is losing more heat than it is able to produce. Hypothermia can be mild, moderate, or severe. Mild hypothermia is something that most people who live in cold climates have experienced. You feel so cold that your body starts to shake a little, but you cannot control the shaking. The treatment for mild hypothermia starts with getting out of the cold, drinking warm, non-alcoholic liquids, and eating something sugary can stop the shivering. Taking a warm bath or sitting by a fire can also warm the body. In severe cases, the body temperature drops below 35 degrees Celsius. People may lose the ability to think clearly. Their muscles become stiff. In such cases, rangers for the National Park Service advise to prevent additional heat loss first. They place extra covering around the chest, head, and neck of victims to keep them warm. It is important to work fast to get people out of the cold. It is equally important to move them slowly and gently. Sudden movement can force cold blood from the arms, legs, and hands deep into the warmer middle of the body. The sudden flow of cold blood can cause shock. The process of rewarming a person needs to be done slowly in a hospital, if possible. An extremely low body temperature can cause the heart to beat so slowly that a pulse may be difficult to find. In other words, a person who is suffering from the effects of severe cold may seem dead, but they may still be alive. For VOA Learning English, I'm Carolyn Presutti.
see it, how much. But whoa, we got a big old storm. Blowing like crazy. You probably can't hear anything, but
So what it looks like is ash.
Yeah,
or
totally.
smoke.
Totally.
But that is a Arizona dust storm. We don't get rain. We get dust storms.
Well,
like the Middle East. Yeah. This is when people are gonna stop and like not drive.
Yeah.
Looks like a cloud just fell.
Yeah, it really does. Looks like
funky.
it just went. Look, you can see it moving right here.
Yep. Pretty clear, right?
Yep.
Well, we're officially going under it.
Look how dark it just got.
It just got real dark. And turning into night.
Oh. Whoa! Okay.
Fully windy.
I can feel it.
Well, that's an Arizona dust storm for you.
Jesus Christ. I'd say our visibility's at 100 yards, maybe. Lights at 100 yards, visibility 50 feet, 60 feet.
Yep.
You can barely see the next street light.
That's the sky. All around us. That's gonna be a cool video.
Yeah.
That went right in.
I'm guessing I probably shouldn't hit my turbo.
No.
Cannot see the street signs that say "Get off the freeway."
I know. I assume this is Arizona, right?
Yeah.
There's a street sign that's coming.
You
can't see it. Can't see it. There we go. Arizona Avenue.
Wow. Cannot see anything.
No signs.
Can you feel it blowing the car?
Oh yeah. Dang, talk about like
Traffic has
lights
slowed to about
out.
40 miles an hour.
40. Usually people are doing 90 something.
I cannot see where we need to stop.
There you go. Lines are good. Wow, that got really dark really fast.
Wow. Look how fast it's moving in front of us.
Yeah.
You can see the...
Well, that's an Arizona dust storm. Thanks for watching. Alright, now that I'm driving, I can't see a damn thing. And it's only 7:30. I mean, it was nice daylight out. And this dust storm blew in like complete darkness, and there's a stop sign. You can't see, it's right there. I got my flashers on because it's a little easier to see people. But yeah, it actually looks a little clearer in the video than it does when I'm actually driving, but yeah, you can't see anything. Kind of an interesting drive, but typical dust storm, I guess. It's just a big one. It blew in really fast, tons of wind. And you can hear all the dust and rocks and stuff bouncing off the windshield. It's pitting everything. And this is one reason why paint in Arizona doesn't last. Dude, alright, don't turn in front of me. That's not rain, those are rocks. I don't know if you can hear that in the video, but see the blowing dust across the road. A lot of people pulled over. Don't swerve in front of me, douche. Holy shit. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Random people stopped all over the road. You know, I'm not worried about driving myself. I'm worried about all these other idiots. This dude way up on the fucking berm. Dude, people are behind the guardrail? What the hell? windy. Holy crap. Not the worst thing I've driven in. I've driven in far worse storms in Chicago on the freeway, on the tollways and stuff. This is Arizona. When it rains, people freak out and cause massive accidents because they slam on brakes and do stupid shit. So, I'm more worried about those people than I am me. Anyways, I'm gonna quit videoing. It's kind of boring. You get the point.
Ainda tem gente na rua, isso que é mais impressionante. Olha o toco de neve que tem na minha janela. E olha esse povo lá embaixo esperando o busão. Tá nevando aqui dentro do quarto. Cara, olha esses... Caralho! Não sei se vai dar pra pegar na câmera, mas estão rolando... Estão rolando uns furacões de neve. Isso é Chicago no meio de uma blizzard. Pois é, fudeu, a gente vai ficar congelado aqui até...
The Germans set up the Muslim Brotherhood in 28, and all the Islamic terrorist organizations can be traced back to the Muslim Brotherhood. Germany controls, for example, Al-Qaeda and Hezbollah and Hamas. So the CIA have been controlled. The first 3 directors of the CIA were all German spies. Hillenkoetter, you go through Bettlesmith, and then into Alan Welsh Dulles, all working for Germany. And then you can understand why the CIA have been hugely ineffective at times. The same applies to MI6.
It needs a lot more. This is a much bigger thing. What you've focused on is, first of all, the section of Ukrainians which were involved in the events proximate in that area were Nazis. They were part of the Hitler operation in their lifetime. And these are children of the Nazis. We have to remember that there was a certain section working for Hitler, which were part of the Hitler system. They killed a lot of Ukrainians themselves, but they also killed a lot of Poles. The assassinations of Poles under Hitler were done largely by these particular Ukrainians who were part of a Nazi system. If you look at their costumes that they wear at home, the costumes of those are Nazi insignia. Their origin is Nazi. And so what you have is the United States government now is actually supporting these Nazis. And Nuland is one of the key supporters of these Nazis. They are still Nazis. Their record of killing Poles during World War II is enormous. This is the same people, they wear the same costumes, the same insignia, the same legacy.
And by the way, you were in World War II. I should also add that. It's amazing how long you've been speaking out. It's just amazing. And I know that is a part of the right-wing group being funded by the CIA. You are correct, sir. And they're trying to split between Catholic and then, of course, Orthodox is more pro-Russia. But what's the big geopolitical and why is this such a serious situation?
Because it has nothing to do with Syria as such or things like that. These are byproducts of a much larger scheme of things. What we're on the verge of is World War III, thermonuclear World War III. And that's the big problem we have to try to defeat. Now, there are other problems that come in as subsidiary features of this problem. But as far as I'm concerned, as long as Obama remains president, we're in danger of being involved in a matter of, a few weeks or even days of thermonuclear war globally. That's where we are. And, my interest here on this is partly just inside the United States itself. This presidency is destroying our nation. And it's getting us into a thermonuclear war which we want no part of, and which our real military people want no part of either. There's no reason for a thermonuclear war. As a matter of fact, it will actually cause the extinction of the human species or something like that.